Steelers and Ravens teaching us a whole lot can change in a weekend. Pittsburgh's playoff chances dropped by 50% since that loss in Cleveland. That opened the door for the Ravens, whose playoff chances went up 50%. These teams meet again Sunday, game 272 of 272. Winner to the playoffs. For the loser, it's Cancun on 3. Mike Tomlin spoke on the matchup today.
There's just real intimacy in these divisional matchups. And so, man, we're working with an edge. This is chess, not checkers, as you strategize and at the early portions of the week. Not only forecasting who's available to us potentially, but also who's available or unavailable for them.
Dan Orlovsky, Marcus Spears, Mina Kimes back with us. Dan, this Steelers offense, down pass catchers to be fair, struggled last week in Cleveland, but they're again short of a full deck here. What is the key for that side of the ball in this de facto playoff game?
If anybody's listened to me at all this year, this answer is going to be very obvious. 6 offensive linemen. Spencer Anderson's got to be a big part. And this offense is about efficiency. It's the only thing that they have done well this year. And I understand that Washington not being there will have some type of ripple effect. But this 6 offensive line group has been the best thing that they have done from a run game perspective all year. They could run the full package of offense. They could toss it. They could hand it off. They could go weak. They can go strong. I think if I was Pittsburgh and Arthur Smith, their play caller, I would put those 6 big guys on the field, turn this into a nasty, ugly football game. I would get a player like Gainwell. I'd get a player like Johnny Smith out on the perimeter and allow their speed to impact the football game. That 6 offensive line run game is going to have to be the reason that they have early down success.
D.O., I completely agree with you as far as bringing in extra bodies. I'm just wondering if the Pittsburgh Steelers can hit 2 or 3 explosives at some point in this game, because it's going to be needed. Like, once this box is stacked up by the Baltimore Ravens, can they find someone to make a play downfield without it being in a situation that's dire, right? To continue a drive or make a big third down play. And Aaron was getting the ball out of his hands so fast against Cleveland that you would think at times Baltimore is going to try to sit on some of those routes. It's just going to be interesting to me. And we all know, we've talked about this all season long, with the absence, obviously, of DK Metcalf as well. We saw that kind of take heed in the Cleveland Browns game. And if I'm Baltimore, I'm going to make sure that this becomes, can the Pittsburgh Steelers throw the ball over the top and make enough plays to beat us? Because I'm with you, D.O. I would do the exact same thing offensively, but if I'm Baltimore, I am not allowing them to run the football on me.
Scotty Miller, man.
What you said?
Listen.
Scotty Miller.
The last time these teams played, and it wasn't that long ago, the Steelers arguably won because of DK Metcalf. All 3 of Aaron's deep passes were to Metcalf. The Ravens played a lot of man coverage in that one. They beat them with DK Metcalf. They're probably going to play even more man coverage. I would, after watching Cleveland against this team. So the question is, who else steps up? I do agree with Dan that they're going to put an extra lineman on the field. I also think Baltimore is going to do what they did last time and stack the box, to Marcus's point. At some point, there will be an opportunity. You don't even need DK Metcalf. You don't even, if they approach this, if Baltimore approaches this the way we think they will, you don't need someone to win 20 yards downfield contested catch. There's going to be an opportunity for somebody to get wide open because they're going to be so zero in on stopping the run. I'll throw out Pat Freiermuth. I do not understand why he has not been a bigger part of this offense all year long. This is his opportunity. We saw when Aaron went hurry up, how suddenly, over the middle of the field, there's Freiermuth. He's arguably your best weapon now. But yeah, it's going to have to be someone through the air, because even if they do go with a run-focused game plan, they can't beat them that way.
Yeah, we saw in the last set of downs in Cleveland, it was Marcus Valdez-Scantling. 2nd, 3rd, 4th down, Rodgers targeted him, not with deep balls, but jump balls in goal-to-go situations. Dan, the story for Baltimore, the status of Lamar Jackson, how much does his availability with that back injury change things with the Ravens' game plan?
Yeah. Listen, he's Lamar Jackson, and I saw Marcus's comments on Countdown last night, and I echo them. He's Lamar Jackson. He's one of the greatest players we've had in our generation over the last at least a decade. But I do think the Ravens can win this game without him. I do think that the Ravens could sit there and say, Pittsburgh's going to be playing without DK Metcalf and Darnell Washington and maybe TJ Watt. Here comes Derrick Henry 35 times. Put big Patrick Ricard on the field, number 42. Put your tight ends on the field and say, here it comes, Pittsburgh. You want inside zone? Here comes inside zone. You want outside zone? Here it comes. You want lead with our fullback? Great, here it comes. You want toss sweep when we crack down the outside and get on the perimeter? Love it. And so this is said with all due respect and admiration to Lamar Jackson. He's unbelievable. They don't need Lamar to win this football game because if they give it to Derrick 35 times, they should win. And honestly, if they don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Well, Baltimore's trying to do the not unprecedented, but the barely precedented in 90-plus years of NFL playoff football. 358 teams have started 1-5 or worse. 4 made the postseason. Coming up, we got 4 teams in the NFC South. By rule, one of them's hosting a wild card game. Division still up for grabs. Trade deadline. That defense was called upon late last week in Buffalo. Miserable weather here. Eagles led 13-0 at the start of the fourth quarter, but then completed as many passes after halftime as I did. They won thanks to a Bills blocked extra point and followed by a failed 2-point conversion in the final seconds. First half for Philly offensively was fine. I mean, not great, but 4.8 yards per play in sleet. Had us in the first half, not going to lie. Second half, Philly ran 18 plays, their fewest in a second half under Nick Sirianni. They had 16 total yards, none via the pass. Jalen Hurts 0 for 7 after halftime and no drops either after halftime, so you can't pin that lack of production on wide receivers. Yet Philly still won, Marcus. Philly is going to be the 2 or the 3 seed. They're either going to host Green Bay or San Francisco, maybe LA in the wild card in less than 2 weeks. What concerns you most watching this offense on Sunday?
Yeah, the question comes, and, Dan and Mina has heard this for 5 years. Why can't Philly run the football? I mean, you start the second half off, and I'm not even talking about the amount of carries like I do usually. The first 2 runs in the second half of this game, you go for 5 yards, and you have a 10-yard run by Saquon Barkley, and everything else is a no-go. And just trying to understand, is it not enough threat from the passing games? Are teams starting to not respect that part of what Philly is doing? Or is it a schematic thing in the run game as far as getting on edges, bringing in extra bodies, trying to figure out how to continue to manufacture yards? This offense is not going to be explosive consistently. We have a whole year sample size of what this offense is. They become explosive when individuals make plays and make extraordinary plays. But as far as scheme and just being able to methodically move the ball down the field and continue to get chunk plays, you just don't see that happen for the Philadelphia Eagles. But the amount of carries obviously is an issue. But you start the second half off with a 5-yard gain and a 10-yard gain, and then it's like -1, 2, 3 yards, 1 yard. So that is an issue that they're going to have to deal with as the playoffs come, because a one-sided offense in Philadelphia at times when we've seen this passing game be anemic is not going to help them get anywhere they're trying to go at the end of the year.
I think the mindset that Philly has to take into the playoffs is not we run the ball to set up the play-action pass, but that the play-action pass sets up the run. And it felt like in the second half too often. So, look, I understand they have to get under center, condensed formations. They want to play action out of that. They need to do both of those things to make it believable. But when Buffalo was selling out to stop the run and they were going run, pass, they're going to lose because they don't. Big part of the reason why they don't run the ball well is they're not winning up front, especially in those condensed look with the tight ends. They're not winning as blockers. So for me, you have to acknowledge that, and you have to lean heavily on the play action on early downs. And then when defenses are fearing it, you could run the ball. This is not a good straight up rushing team. And I think there has to be some acceptance of that. The conservatism in the second half put Jalen Hurts in really difficult positions. I know he went 0 for 7. I know the box score was ugly. But going back and watching his dropbacks, most of the chance, it was just, hey, Devontae, AJ, run outside,
no shot,
run a hitch, come back, let's try to win on 1-on-1 over and over on third down. That's just not tenable. So for me, we're going to obviously spend a lot of time talking about this offense. First down, play action, got to stick with that, even when you have a lead, by the way, and that's what they went away from a bit.
Yeah, it was 0 for 7 in the second half, Mina, but 3 throwaways. They get an exotic pressure, and Jalen Hurts just got to get out of dodge and throw it to Big Dom. Dan, Sunday, what did you see?
I saw Phil a lot what they were kind of referencing, and kind of the one drive was pass, pass, pass. The next 2 drives are run, run, pass. Here's my question, and this is one: they're conservative. They're not going to stop being conservative because of their defense. Okay. Let's look at this long haul for this season. And Mina, I'll ask you this question. I actually want you to answer it, MK. Who in the NFC in the playoffs right now, from an offense, do you think can have its way, can have some success over 4 quarters against Philadelphia's defense?
I don't think anyone is going to dominate them, but I think a really great rushing team like Chicago, and I think San Francisco's running the ball better, could run on them.
Okay, so we're talking about 2 teams. I would put the Rams in there as well, but no team is going to go
LA too.
Go put 28, unlikely,
as well.
Right? So this defense is great in Philadelphia. The worst thing that they can do offensively in Philly to that defense is to get overly aggressive, to throw the ball to the other team. I understand a little bit more creative, a little bit more mix, a little bit more rhythm, yes. But the right thing in Philly is to play to the strength of the defense right now. And that the number one thing is not put them in bad situations and force San Francisco's offense to be great against it, or LA's offense to be great against it. And if that's the case, then maybe those stylistically change a little bit over the course of the game. I just think, guys, this defense is playing at such a high level, you don't have to be overly aggressive from an offensive thought process.
Yeah, and I know the weather was terrible, and Josh Allen may have had some limited mobility with his foot, but they 35 pass attempts against them. They kept Allen in the pocket for all of them, and 2 times Allen scrambled. He got 8 yards total, no first down. So the defense did its part, and they stood up tall when it mattered.